Well, hey, witches and pagans of YouTube. I'm here today with my fabulous roommate.
Hey, I'm Darius. How's it going, you all?
And I'm Shane. And earlier today on Twitter, I asked you guys what kind of content you'd like to see from this channel. I got a couple of really great suggestions, so I'm going to make some more videos in the next few weeks. And then we had some fabulous ideas for...
We do. We have a lot of things coming up, actually. It's going to be so much fun.
Yes. So one of the ideas we got today was someone said, tell me what your personal practice looks like or what your everyday practice looks like. So I guess I thought we'd take a few minutes and talk about what we each do, kind of, because that's kind of like a mythic quality almost to that, like daily personal practice. Like witches swear by it, psychologists swear by it. The daily personal practice. I don't know if you want to start and tell me a little bit about what you do every day.
Yeah, that's fine. So I take a wide variations of things that I do. I smudge a lot. I love to smudge. I love my incense. I love the things that actually take my mind away from my day-to-day life. So, and that's what I feel like spirituality or practice as a witch is actually taking something and making it more for you or your connection to the divine. So
you're talking about altering consciousness.
Yeah, altering consciousness, essentially. So yes, so we would take, so for example, I get up and I'll thank the universe. Most witches go by universe or their deities, or whoever you connect to with spirit. But making sure you're living magically while altering consciousness, if that makes sense.
Sure.
So living day to day, living magically, you wash dishes, things like that, or giving thanks when your feet hit the ground, the acts of gratitude. But then you start to formulate certain things while you're working. Say, for example, you get frustrated. Taking in a cup of water, you turn that into an altering state of consciousness. With this water, I take you in and I release the shit or the crap that I take in day to day. And you actually lose yourself while you're taking a drink of water.
So you're saying like you're taking that, like if you're real fucking irritated at someone, you'll take a drink of water and you'll like visualize that water cooling you down or like cooling off your temper.
Or you can even like wash your hands. I have a friend of mine, she actually washes her hands with soap, but sometimes she'll add a little salt to ground herself. And it's just a blessed waters, cleanse my hands as I cleanse my mind from those who do me wrong.
And then you mentioned doing the dishes as
doing dishes. So, we have some mutual friends that we have. They'll wash dishes, saying the pile of dishes is a whole lot of your bills, your debts, your crap, your shit day to day that we have. Yeah. And then as you have a clean side of your sink or your clean dish rack, you'll wash those dishes, washing away the dirt and the filth and the negativity and the debt. And as you rinse off, you're wiping away that negativity and dirt and reinstilling those dishes with cleanliness. I add pine salt in my dishes.
I was gonna say, do you do that when you do the dishes here?
I do bleach and pine salt.
Because if you're doing that, I'm gonna need you to do the dishes a lot more.
And I do, I add a whole bunch of concoctions to it.
I just want to, and you said something about when your feet hit the floor?
Yeah, so when your feet hit the floor, you do an act of gratitude because, the universe, it's more so that synchronicity, I give thanks to the universe. Thank you for letting me be able to get up this morning because, though we don't want to go to work, though we don't want to do X, Y, Z, A, B, C, it just takes a moment to put yourself into consciousness of, all right, I'm here. My feet have touched the ground. I don't sleep with socks on. So my feet hit the hardwood floor is just like, boom, you're grounded. Boom, you're brought into that state of mind. I am one.
Like really present.
Yeah,
just
I'm
being
here.
Present.
So that's centering and grounding versus the grounding and centering.
I kind of love that. And I love that it takes like literally a second to do.
Just like that. Okay. Yeah. But what about you?
Well, so that's the kind of the beginning of the day and throughout the day. Is there something you do in the evening or when you get home from work?
So when I get home from work, like tonight, I've waited for a while, but I take in a whole lot of negativity, like anybody does. When you work day to day.
We work in customer service. Different companies, but we work with the public.
With a lot of people.
A lot of dumb people.
Dumb people and mean people. Everybody has their own baggage. One of my old bosses, like maybe somebody who comes in just has diarrhea, that uncomfortable feeling, the angry feeling, all those emotions. But they just lash out on us. Right.
And I do say, like, everyone you meet is fighting some sort of battle you know nothing about.
True.
And you have to assume positive intent when,
until they prove otherwise.
Right. When someone comes in, you have no idea where they've just come from, but it's hard to kind of keep that in the back of your mind all the time, 24 hours a day, when people want to come in and just throw their shit on you. So
exactly. So when I come home, when I get off of work, I take a moment just to breathe, to bring myself back into conscious, or into focus, or into present. So
I know sometimes you call me, you're like, I'm getting off work, but I'm going to sit in my car for the next 15 minutes.
Yep.
And I'm like, all right.
It just happens. And you know, like today, it was here in New York, it was windy and gusting all of the wind of hard craziness. You know,
Yeah,
like those
pre-spring,
yes.
like real, yeah.
But you use that and let the winds just blow through you if you can. But more importantly, when there's not there, I usually come home and I'll go into that room or my room and I'll close the door and I will light that sage up. And of course, I would strip down completely naked and just let all the sage.
That'll be another video.
Stay tuned. No, but seriously, it's one of those things, you take yourself out of all of that negativity and out of your head. You release all, so you go counterclockwise. Yeah, counterclockwise, Tioso? Widdershins, there we go. You go Widdershins and you take away, you're opening up that, that circle around yourself that allows all the excess to come out of that crown, out of that Kundalini energy. You know, I love talking about the Kundalini.
It's like his buzzword this week.
Buzzword.
That's his word of the week. Everything has been about Kundalini.
Everything, but no, you have to release it. You know, all that negativity, and you go under the armpits, bring up through the hands, come around the throat, the communication, because we're always putting ourselves on display. And so I get completely naked and I go ahead and smudge all myself. And then once I'm done, I call it the release and the restore. So once I release going Widdershins, I restore going Diosol, and I actually bring back that positive intent. And, you know, as I go around, first of all, as I go Widdershins, I release that does not bode positivity and love and light, or just in general, that doesn't make me feel good. Just, you know, just all that fuck the love and light all the time. It's just like sometimes, you know, you just want
things that you don't need.
Just the things I don't need. That woman who got mad at me, call her ma'am. I mean, you know, it happens.
Yeah.
But I release that and I restore that with the positivity or the intent of, or the case of, I'm here, it's over, it's done. Let go of yesterday or today and be present. I got a roommate, I got dinner, I got
good friends.
And my Sabrina Spellman, mortuary.
Also, I don't think we're supposed to say smudge anymore.
Ooh, what is the word?
Well, I think we can say like, smoke cleansing. I think smoke blessing.
Okay,
we can say like clearing with smoke. But I think smudge is I think that has cultural connotations to it that like that's part of their sacred ceremonies and indigenous people.
Wow.
So, you know, we can still use sage. We can say sage. We can say smoke cleansing. But I think smudging is a term that we're supposed to kind of leave alone.
Okay, I like it. Well,
out here in 2020, we're learning every day.
2020, you take new things, new chances every day. So I learn something new. So yeah, and then you know what? Most importantly, when I do that, I don't put on the same clothes. 90% of the time, I don't put on the same clothes. I
think that's a good bit of magical hygiene, right?
You know, you go get in the shower, you go do everything.
Stripped off all of the mundanity and the dross of that day. And then you put on, even if it's just pajamas, even if it's the same pajamas you've been wearing for 5 days, because that's what I do. But you're just taking off that work uniform, I think is a really useful signal to your deep mind that you're not there anymore. You've washed your hands of that for that day.
There you go, release.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's me. And then, you know, I eat, I make pancakes at 1 o'clock in the morning, and
you do a lot of magical cooking.
Kitchen witchery is a thing.
We're gonna have to do a whole video on you and your magical cooking. It'll be like Julia Childs up in this bitch.
You have no idea.
I mean, that's showing my age. So who's hip now? I don't know. Ina Gardner or
Beyonce.
Beyonce
still
has a cooking show.
She should.
No, I'm talking about people that have Rachel Ray.
Like Rachel Ray.
Oh, that makes me. I'm probably old.
Rachel Ray. 30-minute meals. Yeah, she still got them 30-minute meals.
Okay, cool.
For those of us who have cable and the Food Network. But no, so what about you? What do you like to do?
Yeah, the Food Network. I forgot about
Food Network all day.
Sorry. I don't cook. That's why you're my roommate. Full disclosure, I feel like this is like one of those confessional videos. I did not do a daily practice for many, many years.
Okay.
Because with running the coven with my beloved partner and all of our wonderful initiates is a giant, giant chunk of time. And we meet a lot of covens in our tradition. So my partner and I run a Gardnerian coven. Most covens meet about once a month. We kind of double down on that. We meet twice a month. And then for the last couple of years, we also had an outer court. So our initiates were meeting twice a month. And then our students, our non-initiates, were also meeting once or twice a month. and just administrative stuff with the coven. And it took up a lot of my time, so I was focusing more on my role, you know, who I am to everyone else, and not so much the witch I am at my core.
Right.
So I haven't had a personal practice in a very long time, but you know, and I already told you this, but you know, praise in public, criticize in private, right?
Right.
You know, credit where credit is due. You were the one that really inspired me to get back into a daily personal practice, because you walk your talk. You know, you really do. No, like the day he moved in, the first thing that came in was his altar setup. The first thing that came in was statuary and his altar and his incense. His clothes was still in the car.
In the car for 2-3 days.
I was going to blow up your spot like that, but yeah, 2-3 days. His bedding, everything was still in the car, and he was lighting incense, and he was saying prayers, and, you know. No, but, yeah, your ancestors, and like I said, but, you know, you're the real deal. You know, every morning, and when you would get home, and at night, and you've always got multiple things cooking, and, you know, I have a lot of respect for that. So like I said, it really inspired me to get back to a daily practice. Mine is not so elaborate as yours. And I really have a huge separation of like the witch persona and the work persona. And when I'm at work, I'm really not thinking magically. Yeah. Maybe I should more. Especially
but you do a lot of being in charge, and you do a lot of you're the head of a lot of things up front always. So, and while me, I get to be one with the common folk.
An individual contributor.
Exactly. You are always on a pedestal at all times. So it's understandable why your mind doesn't...
It's lonely at the top.
Always. But that's what life is, though. Life is not... And this is what we do as witches, is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
And so, but I want to go ahead and touch back on one thing real quick. Though you may have picked up things from me, when I came here, though, you already had your stuff set up. You had the candles already ready. You were not active in doing it, but you still...
Right, I have my altar.
You have your altars. And here at the Arcane Academy of Awesomeness, you have just relit that candle. And you, just like Hocus Pocus, we light that candle and the book comes open again.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
no, and there's no rush, right? No. Like, and for people out there who may be feeling guilty because, you know, like me, they let their personal practice lapse. It's not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. You can pick it up any day, anytime you decide to.
It feels good, trust me.
It feels good, right. Well, and that's why I was like, all right, I'm going to do it just because, like, you know, I kind of felt, I had like that imposter syndrome going on. I felt like a fraud. I'm like, here you are, you're doing all this, you're doing the thing, you're doing all the stuff. And here I am, like, you know, I'm princess, la 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 la, with a 1/4 inch of dust on my altar, right? So I'm like, all right, I'm going to do the thing. And once I had gotten back into that habit, you know, it feels good. It's very centering at the end of the day. Yeah. And like I said, I don't do anything in the morning when I first wake up because I'm like, oh, I got to work, and, you know, running around. and then even at work, even as I face this, like, kind of daily, day in, day out frustrations, I don't really, probably not using my witchcraft to the full potential it could be.
Yet.
And when I get home, I mean, these days we're doing a lot of stuff. Ooh. Even if it's just like, oh, one day we'll carve a candle. Oh, the next day, you know, we're reading. The next day we're...
Music.
You know, yes. Music, dancing, you know, cleansing the home, whatever. But the thing that I have been doing every day consistently, and we have talked about this, is in the altar, in my bedroom. Every night right before I go to sleep, I light the candles, maybe some incense. If I'm really going to sleep in like the next few minutes and I don't want to leave a whole stick of incense burning while I go to bed, I have like a essential oil spray, and I just spray the air just to kind of set the atmosphere, to make it an inviting and welcoming atmosphere for the presence of the gods. And when it's ready, and I feel like it's looking good, and I'm ready to kind of have that communion with deity, I ring a bell.
That bell.
I know you hear it from your bedroom.
I love that bell.
It's a New York City apartment. The walls are very thin, so I know you hear the bell.
I moved here, and I'm like, what is that noise? I love this bell. Oh, my gosh.
My little brass bell.
I lived in Kentucky for so long, and we didn't have, I mean, I lived in a place where the title witch or the practices of a witch were not really something that I could just go around saying, ha-ha, ringing the bell. But living with another witch, it's like...
So many references.
So
like,
many
get
things.
the bell, book, and candle.
Get
the bird. Get the book.
Get the, oh. Midnight margaritas have never been... Except for some people.
But as I was saying...
I'm sorry, not sorry.
Now, ring the bell to kind of signal that, like, I'm ready to begin. Most nights I bend over and I touch my forehead to the altar. I don't know why. That's not anything I learned or anything I was taught. It's just something that feels correct to me. And then I just kind of speak extemporaneously. I just speak off the cuff. And that's when I do mine. You say you do your act of gratitude in the morning.
Yeah.
That's when I do mine. I'll say, thank you for this that happened today, and that had happened today, and this had happened today. And even if it was a shit day, I still try to say, like, well, hey, I have a roof over my head today. I had food on my table. I had clothes on my back. I have a job. It's a job that makes me fucking nuts, but it pays my bills, and I have it. And a lot of people don't have a job right now, so I'm very thankful. Just trying to keep that perspective. And like I said, a lot of times there are also individual things, that I thank the gods for. My coven mates, my partner, my best friend, my family, you.
I'm in the best friend, family, and roommate. That's all. I'm
right. He's in several categories, but
they are too.
Yeah, and sometimes I ask for things, but not most of the time. Most of the time it's just, kind of a recap. Hey, here are the things that happened today. Thank you for getting me through them. Thanks for these blessings and these gifts. And then, like I said, sometimes there's also like, hey, can you please help me with this? Or can you please help this person that I know who is struggling with that? And then when not always you. And when I'm done, I ring the bell again to kind of signal that I'm done talking, I'm done communing, and then, put out the candles and incense. And that's it. It's very short. Like I said, it's quite short. I'm sure I'd be shocked if it was more than 2 minutes. But, it has given me a lot of peace, and a lot of, I feel better, I feel centered, and, it sounds corny as fuck, but it's true, because, like I said, psychologists, and you read a lot of, like, mental health tips and articles that say, like, oh, keep a gratitude journal. Every day, write down 3 things you're thankful for. And I'm like, what is that going to do?
Ain't nobody got time to, who got time to write? What we do every day.
But honestly, and I was like, yeah, okay. But I think it really is, it's a mood booster. It's improved my outlook on a lot of things. Just, like I said, 2 minutes, 90 seconds at the end of every night, right before I crawl into bed and conk out. So that's my only consistent personal practice, but I love it so far, and who knows, maybe in the future I'll add things to that in the morning, or as I do the housework, or as I whatever. I mean,
that's the thing, like I told you the other night, like, being from the background that I have a huge reserve against the word prayer versus spell work. And for the first time in a long time, because of having a Christian background or a Southern Baptist background with Buddhists and a whole bunch of other things, I prayed for the first time, and it was just like, okay, I thought about a lot of things in my head, like, okay, am I saying God or Goddess? Am I saying Spirit? Am I saying Universe? Because I believe in the encompassing. And so it's just like submitting oneself just to prayer is something new for me in general. That's something that I've added to my night. To round out my whole day, that rounds up everything that I have with my whole releasing. And it's nice just to ask in prayer, not a spell, just to say, hey, these are the people in my mind that I would like to ask.
Just keep an eye on them. I love them.
I love them so much. Exactly. And it's so funny, by the time I'm finished naming some people, I'm already half asleep. And then I say my 3, Ashes, some other B's, and Amen, or anything. And it's just, I feel better. And when I wake up, it's just like motivation. I'm gonna break you off, let me be your motivation to stay and get it tonight.
What would be an interesting video we should talk about next time? The difference between prayer and spell work.
Ooh,
and how a lot of people say, like, oh, spells are just prayers with props, and I don't really buy that. I think there's a difference between being active and passive.
Yes,
and but I think that's a good topic.
That'd be a really good follow-up too, yes.
Again, if there's anything else you guys want to see, want to hear us prattle on about, we're here for it. And I'm going to say this for the first time. Oh, if you like this, subscribe to my channel. I feel like a real YouTube person. Hit the like button. Hit the, I don't know what else. What do they say?
Hit the like button. Subscribe.
Like, please, subscribe, and share.
There you go. Share. It keeps those, algorithms going.
Yes.
And all those amazing things, because you know what? We are here, and they are here for the show. We are here And queer.
And queer and witchtastic.
And witchtastic.
Here at the Arcane Academy.
Right here at the Arcane
in New York
Academy.
City. Cheers. Good night, guys. Blessed be.
Blessed be.